The Brantley family, David, Sarah, and their 8-year-old daughter Emma, had finally found their dream home just outside Boston. It was a colonial-era property, built in 1787, nestled among quiet streets and tall sycamore trees. The house had charm, original crown moldings, creaky wooden floors, a grand staircase, and an attic with an old iron latch. Despite its age, the place was in surprisingly good shape. Locals often passed by with curious glances, whispering about the Hamilton house. When David asked the realtor about it, she only smiled politely and said, "It has history." Within the first week, the Brantleys were settled in. Emma had a room overlooking the backyard and seemed enchanted by the house. She spent hours talking to her stuffed animals and sitting at the bottom of the attic stairs, humming songs no one had taught her. One morning at breakfast, she said cheerfully, "Mr. Hamilton says we have to be careful with the attic. It remembers things." Sarah chuckled. "Who's Mr. Hamilton, sweetie?" Emma smiled. "He lives upstairs. He says he used to live here when he was alive." They laughed it off, children and their imaginary friends, until the voices started. By the third week, strange patterns began to unfold. Emma's vocabulary changed. She no longer said okay, but instead, verily. She called David father and Sarah mother. When she spilled juice one day, she cried, "Forgive me, for I have committed folly." One evening, Sarah found Emma locking her bedroom door with an old iron key. "Where did you find that, honey?" she asked. "In the attic," Emma replied, tilting her head. "It fits many doors in this house. Mr. Hamilton showed me." That night, David went up to the attic for the first time. Dust blanketed every corner. The air was thick and stale, the wooden beams groaning like they carried the weight of centuries. In a far corner, he found an old trunk beneath a moth-eaten tarp. Inside lay crumbling parchment, sketches of the house, and a leather-bound journal. It was a diary. He read aloud one entry. November 2nd, 1792. "The fever worsens. No doctor will come. I remain trapped, forsaken by time and by God. I will not die in this house. This house will die with me." It was signed, Thomas Hamilton. The next morning, every mirror in the house cracked clean, identical splits running across the glass. The kitchen clock stopped at 3:17 a.m., and the attic door, which had been sealed for years, was found ajar.
As the days wore on, Emma became more distant. Her eyes, once full of mischief, turned glassy. She spoke less and hummed more, always the same haunting melody. The air in the house grew colder, especially at night. The family's phones stopped charging, lights flickered at random, and no device could keep time past 3:17 a.m. One night, Sarah woke to the sound of whispers, not the mumble of a dream or the creak of the house, but deliberate, rhythmic, masculine words spoken in a British colonial accent. She followed the sound up the staircase and found Emma standing outside the attic door. "He's waiting," Emma whispered without turning round. David installed a padlock on the attic door the next morning, but every night after that, it unlatched by itself at 3:17 a.m. They called a priest. He blessed the home, sprinkled holy water, and said prayers. As he left, he looked back at Emma and muttered under his breath, "That child is not alone." That same night, Emma vanished. Her bed was untouched, the windows were locked, the front door sealed, but the attic door stood wide open. Sarah screamed. David searched every corner of the attic, but there was no sign of her, no footprints, no dust disturbed. Then, just as the sun began to rise, they heard her voice, from deep inside the walls. "I'm staying with Mr. Hamilton now." Days turned into weeks. No trace of Emma was ever found. The police searched, the neighbors rallied, and media reporters camped on their front lawn, but the girl was gone. Eventually, the search ended, but the attic remained warm. The padlock, replaced multiple times, always opened itself at 3:17 a.m. The Brantleys moved away, broken and hollow. The house sat empty for a year, then two, until a new family moved in. A couple with twin boys, excited to live in a historic Boston gem. On their first night, the boys ran upstairs and found the attic. One of them laughed, pointing. "Someone's humming up there." The parents dismissed it just the wind. But that night, at 3:17 a.m., the attic door creaked open. Inside, the air shimmered with heat, and in the faint hum of the shadows, the voice of a little girl whispered a tune from long ago, while a man's voice, soft and cold, answered from the walls. The house had remembered, and it wasn't done.